Okay, so we are live. Welcome to our second part of the Masterclass pop-up photo film. My name is Katja Pratschke. I'm one of the three curators. With me is Gustav Fanosch, and in Hamburg, Thomas Tode.
Yeah, and I will welcome you in the name of the Concrete Narrative Society, which is organizing events on photo film since 2006. We did several classes and lectures, a book in 2010, and we are preparing a new book, this time in English, for next year. I would like also to welcome you on behalf of the Haus der Photographie in Hamburg, who is hosting this event. And especially I would like to thank the curators Ingo Taupon and Matthias Schönebäumer. And last but not least, thanks to Neustart Kultur, who is financing this event. And I have the pleasure, of course, to present our guests or the artists for today. This is Romeo Grünfelder from Hamburg. Yeah, please say something that the people can see. Yeah.
Hello.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
And Paul de Nooijer from Holland, from
Hello. Hello, yeah. It's me.
And Menno.
Yeah, that is me.
Yeah. And of course, I think also welcome to all the guests from all over the world, from India to Brazil. It's worth to talk in English to have this international public. And before I forget, I would like to thank our two technicians, Christian and Ranaf, because we always forget that at the end. So they are doing a very complicated job. And thank you to both of you that you made it possible that we can talk this way. Okay, so Katja will tell something about the rules of today.
Yeah, so as we are live streaming and are on Zoom, I would just like to remember for everybody who's new today with us, for the audience on Zoom, please make sure to keep your microphone muted so it does not interfere during the presentation and talks. During the presentations, videos of the artist will be shown. Please select active speaker view in order to switch to a larger video window. For the audience on Zoom, when you have a question or something you would like to say, you can raise the hand function located in the participant panel or write your question in the chat. So yesterday in the discussion, everybody was asking the question directly by raising their hand. This was actually very nice. So there will be time for discussion and question after the presentations of the artists. The masterclass will be live streamed on Facebook and YouTube. For people following via live stream, if you have any questions to the artist, please write them in the Facebook chat of the Facebook page Photo Film. I will moderate the questions both here on Zoom and on Facebook. We will publish the live stream on our YouTube channel and our webpage. The name of the webpage is to move or not to move.de. For our audience on Zoom, that means that you will be visible if your camera is on. If you do not wish to be seen on the recording that we will publish later, please put your camera off.
Yeah, and the schedule is very simple. It is 45 minutes with Romeo. We are starting with Romeo this time, then 25 minutes Q&A. Then we will have 10 to 15 minutes pause, and then we go on with Paul and Menno de Nooijer, also 45 minutes for presentation and 25 minutes for the Q&A. Okay, Gustav will give us supply some information about Romeo.
Oh yeah, well, nothing special or anything new. Romeo Grünfelder from Hamburg is a filmmaker and artist. In his works, paranormal photographs are seemingly supernatural phenomena are contrasted with everyday experiences through which a supposed casualty between these contagious elements is evoked. His work have been shown and garnered awards at exhibitions as well as at international film and media festivals. We met already yesterday and started to talk about this a very interesting, seemingly supernatural what is this? Paranormal phenomena. And I just found out that is a real challenge for us, for Thomas Kajani. We are working with still images in the kinematographic context. And as we learned yesterday from Romeo, the interesting part of the paraphenomenal of this phenomenon of photography of thoughts that that there is no movement in the series of that series. So so this is one thing that that he can seemingly photograph his thoughts, but on the other hand, there is no movement. That means that he cannot think of movement. He can produce images of his thoughts, but he cannot see or cannot think movement. It's just as opposite to me. I can remember and think of movement, but I cannot photograph my thoughts. Contrast to this, we learned that Romeo Grünfelder also reconstructing photographs in a filmic, where the still image is absent and everything is moving. So it is rather the stillness in his work is rather conceptual. So welcome, Romeo Grünfelder. Please, the floor is yours.
So first of all, Gustav, thank you very much for your kind words. I appreciate it much as you compressed the evening yesterday. Thank you very much. Also, thank you very much to Thomas and Katja, all the stuff in the background who make the things happen. And yeah, I just like to announce before that I would like to encourage all people to turn the cameras on, so then I can better control if my speech is that boring that people are knocking out or sleeping. However, if you are feel comfortable with it, turn your camera on. I would appreciate it very much, at least due to the fact that I have something like a response from the people I'm staring on. So today it's maybe more or less paranormal. So good luck to Gustav. He hasn't complained about senseless and meaninglessness. So anthology, I called it anthology due to the fact that it wasn't yet planned, or it wasn't that concepted as you would maybe as you would plan a series or something, or like a series. I got different approaches towards this film anthology. The first one was very simple. It was a technical issue. Since filmmaking costs a lot of money, a lot of effort, I was looking for a way to produce film without invest big money, invest a lot of technical knowledge. So when I started the series, 35 millimeters was just going down and the digital came up. So it was clear that I could use kind of easily 35 millimeters for whatever, for small money. And so I started for myself, and with whatever, with these times you got a film almost for free, due to the fact that in almost all film productions they have rests of unexposed film. So I use this systematic to do experiments on or with film, or in film, or with a medium which wouldn't be maybe that easily funded as I experienced with my project before. Anyway, some of these fragments of the anthology have been funded anyway, so I got always some small money, but actually it was very important for me to get independent from this kind of, I don't know if I would say industry, but from this dependence, first of all. Second, or the third actually is just to experiment with the medium, which wouldn't be normally funded due to the fact that actually if you try to get fund, you have to describe what are you doing. And as you know from scientists and from all other experimentators, some experiments lead to some conclusions or to some solutions which you wouldn't get into one term or into a precise definition in advance. So I recognize, or I discovered during my process or during this kind of conception, that I got to idea which I never would have thought about in the beginning. And today, so we have a presentation from 3 of these fragments out of this anthology. Till now we have, or I got finished 5 of 10. I thought 10 would be maybe a good number. Maybe it would be 12 or will be 13, whatever. As side mark, I get a little bit stuck with the 5th. After the 5th, I don't get really into the stuff as deep as I would like to, because I need a lot of whatever, always and often with some readings. So it's hardly, or it's not hardly, it's very deep inspired by readings. For instance, the first film from Lacan, Jacques Lacan, and due to this fact, you need time and into next ideas, which I would like to realize in the future. So I jump over the first screen, Horowakui. There's also a book, but I would like to talk about the book to the film anthology afterwards. I would like to present the first project. It wasn't really the first project. The first project was another film, but the first project for today is Un Objet, a French title. The title was invented by Paul Nouget, and Paul Nouget was kind of the mastermind of Surrealism, Belgium Surrealism. He was kind of group, or he was the kind of thinking, a theorist and the brain of the Surrealist Belgian group around René Magritte and Maisons and others. And he always gives the right words to Magritte and his concept of surrealism. For short words, the surrealistic way of these photographs. So Nouget has also done just 19 photographs in his whole life, which have been presented at 1968. They have been produced at 1929 till 1930, and have never been shown until some curators have shown it in exhibition in Centre Pompidou and other locations. So these photographs relate to something which could be called the surrealistic concept of montage, as I, forgive me my very reduced and compressed explanation to surrealistic concept, but the combination of contradictory stuff produces something like, maybe Gustav would like to use the term sense or meaning, but the contradiction between day and night, for instance, in pictures of René Magritte, constitutes something which is hardly to described in logical relations. It's just contradictory and describable. So this kind of combination was always something which intrigues me. So The first thing what I would like to show is the origin, which intrigues me a lot. Intriguing means also, in relating to Roland Barthes, the punctum, it has something which goes deeper or beyond what I would learn when I would like study, or if I would study the concept of how it's being produced or what he's thinking about. It was just something which strikes me immediately. So maybe some pictures are striking you too. So I would like to show you some pictures of this, or I show you all 19, and then we'll come back to the one which I used as base for my movie. So I try to give Bildschirm free, however it works. If it doesn't work, you have to say something, but I think we have some practice in this. So I started with, it's not very good. Oh, okay, so this is the, okay. As I told it, even the series of Paul Nouget is calling Subversion des images, but my title is Subversion d'un image. It's a different, and the difference we will talk about later. This pictures, starting with this, this is the housewife from, the wife from René Magritte, Georgette. You see the reference to Louis Buñuel and others. I just flip through. There's some not very spectral things, but if you would talk about the titles, there have been some references which mark the combination of contradictions which I declared before. So this is maybe the thought. It's something like a mirroring scene. It's not very precise, but you will see it afterwards. What I'm talking about. It's not very, maybe this is not very typical surrealistic style, but actually together with the title, they use a lot of contradictional games. This is, for instance, the jongleur en rêve. This is the dreamer who did this gameplay. This is the poet. It's a reference to the poor poet in the attic. This is something which we saw yesterday too. This a reference to spirit photography. Actually, it's a very old idea that enclosed there are still spirits of the people who won the clothes. Another mirroring scene. These are kind of typical, more typical pictures. This is the picture which I want to refer afterwards. It's called Naissance d'un objet. Actually, you see here, I don't know if you see that, this is René Magritte, his wife, and this is Naissance, and this is, as I thought, it's Nouget himself. It's the mirroring beyond the mirror. This is another picture we would like to come, we would like to refer in the end or after the next. Here we have again something, some small reference to magic or to the uncanny or to something like paranormal. These two guys, the title is Le Buffet, the drinkers, right? They are how to say, if you click your glasses together to say santé or something, this is what they are doing. This is another picture hanging the could you help me some in English? The mantle, the mantle?
The coat.
the code. Hanging the code in the empty space. So anyway, this is the picture which I would like to refer. I saw the picture and I thought, what is it exactly? What intrigues me? So I was pretty intrigued by the time shift. Time shift means that they are staring to something which could have been on the wall, maybe something like a frame or pictured frame or frame picture, or a fly, or maybe there is a fly, but we don't see it exactly what they are staring. So the time shift is more what I'm into, and I thought, what is it exactly what they are staring on? And I didn't want to describe it more than I saw, and try to organize some film screening. We built up a scenery in the gallery, and we actually the set was a part of an exhibition in a gallery, in a Berlin gallery, and we shot the scenery with 5 actors, and maybe I don't want to tell more about that than you will see in the embedded video, which I would like to ask Rana for, Christian for to insert. Rana, Christian, do you hear me? Okay.
But
You can unshare your desktop.
Sorry, yeah.
4, 5er, da hast du ja jetzt schon was.
Ja, also ich würfel noch mal. Oder die 4.
Wow. Gut,
Jetzt bin
toll.
ich dran.
Na, das war aber echt Glück.
3, 4.
Fünf.
Sehr gut.
Jetzt bin ich dran.
To see it in full-time modus, you have to set the
Ja, ja.
picture on speaker view, okay?
Gut, ja.
Ich würfel nochmal. Was ist das?
Ich habe es eben erst entdeckt.
I've just discovered it before.
Was ist das denn?
What is it?
Pass lieber auf.
Pay attention.
Ich glaube, das bewegt sich.
It's moving.
Das war doch vorhin noch nicht da.
Nein.
Keine Ahnung.
It wasn't there before. No idea.
Das hätten wir ja gesehen.
We would have seen it.
Faszinierend zu beobachten.
It's fascinating to see, to observe.
Was siehst du?
Merkwürdig.
What are you seeing?
Das ist ziemlich merkwürdig.
Strange, pretty strange.
Das war vorher noch nicht da, oder?
It wasn't there before.
unglaublich.
Or?
Keine Ahnung. Ich hab's noch nie
Unbelievable.
gesehen.
No idea. I haven't seen it before. What is it?
Unheimlich, nicht?
Uncanny.
Ich will wissen, was es ist. Meinst du das da?
I would like to know what it is. You mean that?
Ja.
J'avais jamais vu ça, mais c'est pas croyable. C'est pas possible, ça doit pas exister.
I've never seen something like that.
Moi, j'y crois pas.
It's unbelievable. It's not possible that it exists. I don't know. I don't believe it. So here we are. What is this? Oh, Jesus. What is this? Sorry. First to. Okay. So. Did everyone hear me or? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to bother you what you've seen, but regularly people say, or for instance, my nephew said, it's a completely, it's a bad joke, something like that. It's just like joking about people or laughing about people. Doing films like that where nothing could be seen and just behave like there was something or there is something. So as I told before, the temporality of this picture was kind of striking me. So I started filming and suddenly I recognized that I discovered something into my picture which is related to this picture, but afterwards after we shot it or after during the shootings it's kind of an eye opener. I tried to get this picture, the still picture on the screen. And how do I do that? I do it live. I'm here in just a few minutes, a few seconds. Maybe it should be prepared better, but actually I will try to, no, nope. Excuse me, but it's kind of important to see the still again. Still. I just show you the still that you, if you see the still, you would recognize it easily. Let me see if I could do it easily. And here we go. You see something?
Yes.
Okay, so you see a still of the movie. And as I told before, I don't want to bother you asking you or everybody if we have maybe a different thinking of what is seen. I will spoil the whole thing. What you're seeing is something like the midpoint of the movie. If you cross the lines from edge to edge, you will see that here where my cross is the midpoint. So what does it tell me? What's the meaning, as Gustav would ask, what's the meaning of this midpoint? So any midpoint wouldn't be very interesting, but actually midpoint is a topos of a construction and not of something which is seen. And the midpoint is actually also something which we know from Lacan's theory. If I can stop this, I can stop this, and I'm able to show you this, but there is nothing. Why is there nothing? Okay. Sorry for that. Why is it there? Okay. So the midpoint is related to something which calls also vanishing point. Midpoint is something which constructed by the subject or the viewer who looks into with the camera, with the framing into the world. So this is kind of in Lacan's theory, it's a Geometralpunkt. As the vanishing point is something what he called the Lichtpunkt. The vanishing point is always as imagined as object small e in the outside, the outer world, the seen, not reachable point, the vanishing point, which vanished. So what you're seeing is kind of a vanishing point, or you thought it's a vanishing point, which is not there, not present. But actually what you're seeing is that you are being seen in the setting of the tableau. As you see, you have been set as a visible object in the tableau before you got something like the subjective perspective towards the object. If you would have been in the visible world or in the tableau, you wouldn't have been seen. If you have a crossing, a conjunction of these two things, it's like this. Lacan called it the gaze. You are embedded in the gaze, and the subject of the representation is your mind, or something like you called subject. But the subject is subverted, or is anyhow embedded in something which called the gaze. And what you see, or what you saw in the picture before, is that the people are doing as you are doing when you are looking to a picture. You are constructing out of your view something in the world without any doubt or without any consciousness that you have to be set into the world before you can construct something like in the world. So it's a vice versa. And you as spectra are, maybe you can simplify that in that way, you are the one which is looked at by the represented actors in the picture, so that one can say they are looking on the point which is constructed the you or the subject. I don't know if you got that clear, but actually it's related kind of yeah, it's related to Lacan's theory. And if you're diving more into, maybe it would be more clear the relationship to this thinking. Anyway, if there are any questions, you can also ask afterwards. But actually, the intriguing moment, what I thought was that anyway, the picture's gone. So, where is it? So this one. Do you see that picture, the still? Hello?
Not yet.
Not yet. Is there anybody out there? Okay, nobody out there. I tried to open this again. Why is it? So, okay, I tried it again. Second. Oh, sorry. Should be better prepared, but actually I try to. So if you stare once again on this picture, You see the center of this is there. You think, as I would claim that Gustav is our talk yesterday relates to exactly this. If you are a spectator, you're always looking for some meaning, some coincidence, something in the picture as representation, and the representation could not be declared in that systematic or in that conceptual thinking of subjectivity which construct before any representation. It's nothing to go back, it's nothing which goes back to an origin. It's just the representation which is working as a trap. You're going into the picture and you're looking as they are looking, but actually you're looking to yourself. You are constructing the picture and you are constructing anything like midpoint and the framing, and so do the representants in the frame. So I will stop here. The very, very simplified explanations of eye and gaze, or sight and gaze, in relation to subjectivity and the objects small a. I try to go further with a Bildschirmfreigabe as interesting. Oh my. So you see me again, and we go ahead with the something, not this. We're going ahead with something where we started before. This one. Okay. Okay, here we go. Next movie would relate to this picture, as I told you before. You can also question what's the meaning, or what's the narrative of this movie, or this sorry, not this movie, this picture. The picture shows just an arm pointing out of the frame, and the intriguing moment to me was that the diegetic thinking out of the box or out of the frame should lead to something which could be described also in filmic matter. So what is it what frames film, and what is it what could be pointed out? And I try to refer to this picture, but not just reenact this picture. I try to ask the question I've asked just before, and I would like to ask now Ranaf and Christian to start the next movie, Bras Polaroid. So, okay, here we go. One has to say So or do you see the still?
Ja, wir sehen das.
Ja, wir sehen.
Okay. You see this? So I just have a look on the clock. So I'm pretty out of time. So I would like to make it short. This picture was shown on the Polaroid is the picture which is developing, or the picture which is developed is just shown during the filming, and in the picture which is developing is also the next picture which is developed, so developing of the developed picture which is filmed, and in so on, so on, so on, so on. It's a reiteration, an endless reiteration, which doesn't fix anything original. It's just a reference to what I talked yesterday, the reiteration, the endless reiteration, which exactly liberate the upright search of the origin. It's contradictory. It's the opposite. It's exactly the iteration of the independence of picture, or the picture, how would you say, the imaginary, which doesn't relate to anything original, it doesn't relate to any narrative, who has to occupy pictures, or you have to rule pictures as a story, or to solve something like story. So it's very, I think it's more wrong than right what I'm describing just right now, but maybe you get a little bit insight of what I'm talking about when I'm talking about temporality. It's no temporality which said as it was. It's a temporality which gets independent from something like an Aristotelian thinking of a time in steps, and a time as a repeatable possibility to go into back past or future. Anyway, do I get some 5 minutes, or would it be okay?
You're fine. You have 10 minutes left.
Really? Oh, that's good. That's very good. Okay, I thought 40. Okay, so, very good. So what we're talking now is this one. Does everybody seen the title, the Polaroid right now? Maybe yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So this was the picture. The last one, what I would like to talk about was this is still. We've talked about the reiterations without iteration of the first, of the principle, no iteration or no recapitulation onto something which called original or authorship, or something be stopped in one. And maybe very reading for me was lying onto kind of meaning out of this, and it clears up something. We go ahead. The third thing, the third film which I would like to present is the fourth into the anthology called Sorcière Charbonnet, and relies to photographies or a series, The Park, shot in 1971 till 1979. It was shot with infrared film and shows sceneries in a Tokyo park where couples are making whatever love, or making and others are observing them as voyeurs. It's not very clear due to the fact that Yoshiyuki, the photographer, also use staged moments, or also use actors for his fashion photography, but sometimes it could be kind of a documented scenery, but sometimes it looks kind of overdone. You see the park, it's dark, and the infrared camera, maybe he has also used light, but the infrared camera shows very precise. The people hanging around, it's kind of a contact place, a contact park where people meet and make love, and So this series was an inspiring moment to me to think about what the desire to see arouses. And remember what I said before, it was always my goal to, or my purpose to, or the purpose of the film series was always to experiment with questions which couldn't be handled in something like a storyboard or a screenplay. It's kind of a questioning the media. And if you are going to cinema, you have expectations that you see something like what an emotional, would get to me, from what you get an emotional impact. And the same was for me, what is it? What kind of power does film have, or what kind of power is cinema, which arouses this kind of expectations that you longing to see something. You would like to have something like an direction. So I would like to ask Ranulf and Christian to start the last excerpt. So here we are. Last movie for the for tonight of the series. What you've seen was reference to this park sequence of Yoshiyuki, and I always refuse to watch or to show this film on video due to the fact that it's not transmittable. The transfer to video doesn't work relating to the effect I would like to provoke. The effect is that on film, if you have on film, on physical film, you have a black. There is in projection no light going through the film onto the screen. And if you don't have light on the screen, the public would sit into the cinema without watching anything but the screen, nothing more. So what you see in this film is a digital version. A digital version of black is always light. You have no light in, or you have no light in digital world. You have always, even the black is light. The pixel have to have electronic currency or electronic tension, though it's not possible to show it or to refer to it on digital media. But in film, you have no light going through the lens, through the film, through the positive onto the screen. So what does it mean? If somebody's sitting in the cinema, it's longing to see what are they doing here, what are they seeing. In a realistic way, you would like to see what satisfy your search or your questioning. And in the end, what you see is nothing as the pure screen, which is cinema itself. You are expecting to see something which called system cinema, and the system cinema is something which is whatever comprised out of the architecture, the screen, the projection machinery, but actually you are sitting and watching something which you won't see if you wouldn't have, or if you have always light during the movie, or in most movie you have light and you have pictures, you have representation of pictures or a representation of people and so on the screen, but you would never think during the film about what is the what is basic, what is the background, what is beyond film. And the screen is something which allows projection, and the cinema is kind of a machinery which allows and arouses projection fantasies and projection desires. And so this is the end of my speech. I think I'm kind of in time. I think I'm 3 minutes over. So forgive me for this very, very compressed and maybe too simplified thing. But anyway, you have a possibility to ask questions. And thanks anyway for joining this session. I would like to make some commercial insert for Paul Denoyer. They are coming afterwards, so keep on running. And if you have questions after this session, so let us talk. Is there any? Actually, maybe it was too precise what I declared, so no questions are open, so you won't.
Moment. Well, no question, but one remark, which I appreciated. That was the arm or a hand with the Polaroid, and in the Polaroid image, because she's moving the image.
Or he.
Yeah.
Or she, no, it's a she.
It's a she. That's interesting,
she, right?
It's interesting that it's actually a she, and it's another story. I could tell or could recapitulate the anecdote how we are looking for actors who could do and asking for just for the arm casting, and we have 5 actors. They couldn't do it 3 minutes long, and it was the and he's no actress and nothing at all, but she shakes it and shakes it. Anyway, I guess what you are onto or after. shaking Polaroid is kind of senseless or useless. You don't have to shake Polaroid. The Polaroid doesn't have to be shaked. So it's just a common, whatever, misunderstanding of Polaroid photo taking. It's no use to shake the Polaroid. But I like the whatever. I like the cliché as a trap. You're looking onto something which this is Polaroid, and so you get trapped maybe by the representation of Polaroid. So anyway, Gustav, I just interrupt you?
No, you didn't. Maybe it is just my internet connection. So what I was trying to say, that I appreciated the moving image. You know, that she moved the image.
The movement.
And
she moved definitely.
The image. So
definitely.
This somehow relates to our
talk.
Basically, the still image is moved.
Yeah, you're sometimes interrupted. I don't know if anybody has the same experiences, but Katja and Gustav are sometimes interrupted. I don't get everything what you talk. Okay, so anyway, I got it that you like the movement. Yeah, thanks. Any other questions or any more remarks? I don't know if you.
Yeah, for example, if we start with the first film, it's about this center focus. The film, it's about perspective. And I have the impression all your films are about the conditions of seeing. So as yesterday, you used another term, you have spoken about the a priori. The a priori we bring with us, with which we construct a film, or in the last film, the expectations, the projections we have this sexual situation and so on. So it is about constructing images and films and the conditions of seeing, and that is what relates to photo film, I think, because we always claim that photo film is deconstructing the classical film into photo, sound, talk, and so on, and thinking about the conditions of seeing. So is this something which appeals to you? Which
I've read your text in your book, and I read also the text of Katja and Gustav. So I agree with the pro, or the how would you say, I agree with something you're searching with photo film. What differentiates my thoughts or my my approach was that I always felt that photo film, or anyway, if you have film or if you have filmed something, you have always to do with representations, and this kind of representations, you won't come out of this trap. You can't destroy or disassemble these kind of imaginations which you give in the picture. So my approach was just to ask for the condition in a non-conditional way. It's a contradiction, but actually what is seen, and seeing relies on the subject, and the subject isn't seen in the picture. So what is it, or how could you construct something around, it's the wrong word, and inside, outside, as maybe Anne said yesterday. Where's Anne? I don't know. Yeah, here, Anne Murray. The inside out, the conscious, which construct something outside body or inside body. Maybe this is always a trial to define something which couldn't be described with non-significant terms, because as Lacan said, you have the imaginary, you have just pictures to describe the world. You don't have other things. If you knock your head against a wall without knowing that there's a wall, then you relate to something which Lacan would call the real, and the symbolistic is the third entity. And the problems which I have with photo film is that the photo itself in photo film is always a representation of photo. It's not, even if you show a photo, it's film. It's just a transmission, it's a translation into film, because every photo you show in film has 24 pictures in the second. Or even if you for Paul Noyer has only two pictures in a second, maybe. Anyway, but actually you can't leave the concept of movement image. And I would like to leave movement image to go ahead to time image. Time image is another concept than moving image, movement image. Sorry, we have to be precise because Deleuze is very precise in that moment. He doesn't talk about moving image. He talks about movement image. That's a pretty important difference. Sorry for long explanations. I think everything is said, no?
Yeah, are there any questions from the audience? There are no questions in the chat.
Yeah,
So,
Sarah would like
but you must unmute your Sarah. You must unmute.
But maybe Sarah
in the wrong place. I was doing it in the wrong place.
to somebody else. Yeah, no, okay.
I was doing it on my picture and not. I don't know. I'm interested because I've done restaging of tableaus from still photographs, so I'm interested to cross. And I understand this concept about the Deleuze, the movement image and the time image. And I suppose I tended to think that time image is where a reenacted image almost stays almost still. And that is that the movement is not doing anything other than what we already have in the still image. It's not doing much. It's not furthering a story or furthering a narrative. It's just sort of hovering, but we still have a sense of the still image. But obviously there's a lot of different ways. I can't see you now. I can't see the person talking. Never mind, who was just talking. So I don't know where you've gone.
What are you talking about?
Sorry. Yeah, I'm just trying. Oh, sorry. I was just trying to ask what you'd said about still image and the moving image. And I wasn't here yesterday, so I missed that discussion. So maybe I can't come in, but I'm kind of.
Doesn't relate much.
You said you had some question about photo film, and you were saying something. I'm missing a lot. I don't know whether it's every time you move the hands, but I'm missing chunks. I've just put it in the chat. I'm missing chunks of what's being said, and I missed something what you said just now, even about the photo film and precisely what that was. So
okay.
I wondered what your question was about photo film and what. Yeah. So sorry about that.
So I don't know exactly if I got you right, but
perhaps I could just say I'm interested to know more about what
let me describe it. Let me describe this way. Photo film, if it's used as photo film to tell something like meaning or a sense, or if to tell a narration with cuts. So you use that's a difference between a very simplified version of the difference between movement image and time image. If you use the cut to narrate something, even with photos, with a stage person, whatever, if you use the cut to put one picture after another to get something like a narration or get something like a sense or understanding of a subject, then you're in a moving image, in a very traditional movement image way, due to the fact that you use the cut, and the cut is just giving you the structure. If you're in time image, you have the opposite way, reverse. So you use the pictures to liberate cuts, or other way, you cut to arouse or to arise narrative. For instance, if you have, like in surreal art, if you have two pictures put together, then you got the imagination that these two stages don't have to do something with each other. They don't rely on, but actually sometimes it's almost, as you would say, maybe reliable, but it's very, very intriguing that it's produces something like a contradictory. And if you don't use the cut to tell narration, but you use narration to liberate cuts, then you got a variety and a lot of more options which depend on the cut itself. And this maybe depend on what I called yesterday the virtuality of time. It's a temporal thing that if you have something like a cut which doesn't rely on a narrative, but the other way around. So you are always thinking about what is the sense of, or what is the combination as telling, or what is the narration behind it. It could be like that, could be like that. It could be more narration than just one. If in Hollywood, for instance, it's exactly the other way. You cut a story to have emotional effects because you the goal is to get to reach these emotional effects.
So, Thomas, I think Romeo is frozen.
Yeah, I see he's frozen.
He's even gone. Yeah. So just wanted to introduce Sarah to our audience. We made a masterclass with Sarah in September at the Museum of Photography Berlin, and Sarah was, of course, in London. And Sarah did 2 films where she restaged photographs of Claude Cahun and worked with the text of Claude Cahun. And what you did is actually worked also with tableau vivant, the prolonging of the photograph in form of tableau vivant. And it's a very important work and absolutely worth taking a look also on the webpage of Sarah, and also in our to move or not to move.de, there's the recorded masterclass and also excerpts of Sarah's work. Actually, there's some connection between you and Romeo, because both is, of course, coming from the surrealist time, and both of you
performance
staging. Yeah.
I think there is, and actually I love those photographs that Romeo is working from, and I've kind of become familiar, so I've arisen affinity, and obviously my interests take it slightly, but yes, there is, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and also the reenactment, the restaging is very similar, of course, but he's it's around this one single shot, the surrealistic shot, but you give time to it. And
when I was doing mine, and I did a lot, I found that they're all different things, so it's not a comparison, but for what I was doing, it was important for me. Often I felt that the photographs, the tableaus animated the photographs more, the less I did, the less movement, in a sense, in terms of visual movement I gave. So the movement would be more with sound or light, or just light, or something like the air. And that's just for what I was doing. So so I'm interested in these different approaches, and it's interesting to see how I love to see something being reanimated, and we can, it's really, it's interesting to me.
He's back, Romeo.
Yeah, sorry,
but it's okay. But I just would like to make the difference towards what Sarah said before. For me, the reenactment is just a trap, just a visual trap to get people intrigued, like I was intrigued watching the photographs, intrigued by a sense that people get trapped into something which they can't. And it's not even the manipulation, how I do something that it's more or less.
He's frozen again. Yeah, for you also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe the best, because Thomas, it's 6:15. So let's do 15 minutes break.
Yeah.
And come back at 6:30 with Paul.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So at 6:30 we see us again.
Okay.
We go on with the discussion and with
So it's 6:30. Is that 5:30?
Yeah, it's in London time. It's
15 minutes.
15 minutes pause. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. See you.
See you.
Okay. Thank you. I was